a big man. I just wanna fight with everyone else. Your masquerade, I don't wanna be a part of your parade. Everyone deserves a chance to walk with everyone else, while holding down a job to keep my girl around.
Cale Noble, 32 years of age, from Los Angeles, California. Well, I just kind of was drawn to motorcycles as a kid because it was just more of it wasn't really a hobby, it was more of a lifestyle. Started racing BMX as a teenager, and then it wasn't until I was about 16 I started riding mountain bikes and then became a professional downhill mountain bike racer. And it was funny because my manager at the time said, "Oh, you gotta start riding moto, man. This is like cross training, you know?" And I said, "Oh, sure, yeah, why not?" So, you know, I started going out riding with him again, and actually that's when that passion really fired up for me, was when I was using it as a tool, as a sense of training for myself. I found that was when I actually thought of it as probably my greatest escape, was when I was on two wheels, more importantly, motorized. But yeah, no, actually I'm super passionate about what I do. It's kind of interesting because when I was racing bikes, you know, which, you know, I did for 7 years, traveled all around the world, all over Europe, did all the World Cup circuit and the national circuit, and you know, that was actually my first passion. Was I wanted to be a professional athlete from when I was a little kid, and I would race dirt bikes and started riding BMX. It was just like, I didn't care what it was. I just knew that I wanted to be a pro. And then I felt like it was time for a new chapter, you know? It was like I wanted to not only be creative and love what I do, but I wanted to, you know, have a fruitful career. And I knew that that was something that I'd have to do sooner than later if I was gonna make a change. And it was funny, I met a good friend of mine, Tony Parks, and I met Tony, and he was a hairdresser, and he was not only was he a hairdresser, he owned his own salon. He was married with 5 kids, and I mean, this guy just loved life, and that alone was an inspiration to me. The fact that he was not only doing something artistic, but he loved it. He was able to be a provider. So after years of kind of harping Tony down at the bar at Wolf Creek in Valencia, I'd always catch him in there having a pint, and we'd talk, and I'd be like, "Man, tell me about your job." I mean, and you know, of course I was young at the time, so I was like, "Oh, I mean, how do you stay faithful?" Or, you know, "You're working on beautiful women all the time," you know? And he'd be like, "It's not like that, man. It's just, you know, I'll never forget, he's just like, you know, you put the blinders on, you do your job, and then you make your money and you go home." But yeah, now I find myself, I'm basically a celebrity and fashion hairstylist. So I find myself working on, you know, fashion campaigns or with, you know, some of the top celebrities in the industry, getting them ready for, you know, maybe a red carpet event, or, you know, maybe I'm working with them on an editorial for like a magazine like Vogue or Elle, or, you know, these ones that you see on the newsstands. And I don't know if this is something that I get from, my racing experience, but obviously, as everybody knows, being a racer, there's a competitiveness inside of you. But then on the same time, there's also an essence of performing under pressure. You know, and or it's like the pressure from someone behind you wanting to pass you, and it's like you don't want to give it up, and you got to make sure that every lap counts. That's kind of how my job is like, you know, I work with the biggest fashion brands, I work with the biggest fashion magazines, I work with the biggest celebrities, and it's like every day you come to work, you've got to perform. You've got to give 110, 150%, because if you fall short of that, you're only as good as your last race. And it's the same thing with what I do today. You're only as good as your last job. So every day I show up, not only wanting to give 110% for my clients so that they're satisfied, but more so for myself. I'm probably my worst critic, and I just want to show up and create and give all I can, so that not only do people think I'm a nice, great, loving, welcoming person, but that my work speaks for itself, because that's my main goal at the end of the day.